I would say that we're now in more of a philosophy of disrupt everything. Disrupt the thing that was disrupted last week. Disrupt that process. And so I think, everybody talks about it. They call it innovation. And I look at it more from we need to be disrupting everything should be disrupted. That process that you've been using for 10 years should be done better, and we're going to disrupt it. That disruptive technology that we developed last year, guess what? There's somebody that's coming out of university that wants to disrupt that. So it's disruption everywhere. Getting back to blockchain, we were in on a co-creation workshop that was being hosted and funded by the USAID to how do we facilitate or gold that's leaving the so-called back door in the Congo. And a lot of that artisanal gold goes into the illegitimate supply chain. And so what can we do to solve that? And we were proposing a blockchain solution to do that. And again, I think it came down to the fact that 2017, a lot of charlatans in the market. 2018, there were just a whole bunch of people in that community that were completely anti-blockchain. And so the project didn't get approved. There were some other groups that continued to press and push and move the blockchain down the track, and they were using them in the mining space. And they're getting some minor traction, but I wouldn't call it mainstream. There are some diamond groups, basically almost kind of calling it more for tracking and ensuring what I'll call high value assets. Whiskey, art, diamonds, I guess real estate, you could do that. Basically, you digitize an asset and you can stick it on the blockchain. And it becomes a function of, it's that age old problem also of, I have a solution looking for a problem. And so a lot of people, I think at that point were viewing blockchain as a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, or an overkill solution to a problem when there are other things that you can use, right? The other issue was, back in the early days, there were a number of different blockchains. So Intel had, IBM had one. There were five-ish, kind of what you might call more mainstream, plus plus the blockchain behind Bitcoin, plus Ethereum, plus et cetera. And so the question becomes, what platform will these platforms talk to each other? Which one's going to win? Because bigger companies, they want to let everybody fight it out to determine who's going to win, and then go with whoever wins, whether it's better or not. So you have that issue. Then you've got transaction costs. We were developing on IBM's and Intel's blockchain, and it was essentially free for us to develop and do that. We then did some work on Ethereum, and it was expensive to develop a blockchain because you had to pay all these transaction fees. I think there's certain places for a blockchain. The question becomes, from a traceability, this even gets into batteries, right? So the minerals that go into batteries, where are they coming from? And we want to make sure that they're not coming from someplace of a high risk, and that's making a bad guy rich, right? And then be able to trace all these things. Well, how do you trace all this stuff through the system? A relatively easy way to do it is with a blockchain. You just have to set it up and do it. And it's just, when you transfer something, you click a button and away you go. It's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm. But who will make a decision? CEOs of the company, or those who are on the supply chain?
It's probably the supply chain people, and they have to be technology adopters.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also got to be willing to, I guess, push the envelope a little bit, because there's a lot of headwind in a big corporation. and you have to be a relatively strong personality to push something through the system, and you almost could argue that maybe those systems are designed to be that way.
Mhm.
So if you don't have the champion to go do something, it's not going to get done. Therefore, it's not worthwhile to spend your time doing it.